So here we are, boys and girls. We are on episode number 2 of Reincarnated as a Sword. And, you know, last week, during episode 1, like, I will be 100%, like, just completely transparent. Like, I didn't enjoy it. I thought episode 1 was pretty bad. And it wasn't like it was like the worst. It wasn't like it was unwatchable. I just thought that what they were trying to accomplish, I just felt like they just fumbled the ball. Like I felt like they got a great pass, was like a very unique idea, but they just didn't see it to fruition. So for me, like I told you guys at the end of last week's review, is episode 2 and especially episode 3. Like I'm gonna give it the 3-episode rule. It has to do a lot for me to be like, okay, let me really enjoy this. So with that being said, episode 2, I want to kind of get this right out the gate. Episode 2 was a lot better, and I can legitimately say I am interested now in going into episode number 3. Now, I don't think episode 2 was perfect, but the good way outweighed the bad. So let me tell you what I didn't like about the episode, and then I'm going to spend the rest of the time kind of gushing about what I did like about it. So here's what I didn't like about the episode, and you guys are free to criticize and, you know, kind of like disagree, but here's what I didn't like, is I think the whole narrative of, you know, Fran's parents dying from wanting to evolve so much, right? Now, I don't know if that's the whole entire story behind that, but the way that it is cascaded, the way it is explained, the way it's divulged to me, to you as the viewer, you know, is that her parents wanted to die. Her parents wanted to evolve so badly that they gave their entire being to this goal, but they died from being super tired. So they wore themselves out and they got too tired by trying to achieve this goal, and they failed. So during her, I don't want to call it infancy, but during her childhood, they passed away. And I think that's really silly. Now, is there more to it? Absolutely, right? Because we know that the black cats are, you know, racialized. I don't know if that's the word. Segregated. They're hated, right? Like, it seems like any non-human race seems to have this discrimination towards these black cats for whatever reason. So I'm hoping as the anime continues to get into episode 3, 5, 10, whatever, I'm hoping that we get to learn more about, like, why are the black cats hated so much? Is it something to where there was a war a long time ago and they decide to betray a certain entity? Is it, you know, just that they're like, what is it that causes this hatred to the black cats, which we know isn't true based on how she carries herself, based on her defense of her tribe, etc. So it's like, where does this hatred, discrimination, where does it come from? So that's what I didn't like about it. Was just this, I think the whole evolution part is silly. I would have loved for it, I don't mind evolution being her goal, but I would have loved a very similar story to Mushoku Tensei, right? Like how you have the Maguardia, or not the Maguardia, you have the specific, I forget what it was called, but the green-haired tribe, right? Like you have a certain tribe, and she's trying to basically get respect back to the black cats, and that's her goal. I would have loved her goal to be adjusted as opposed to just evolving. And what does evolving look like? Like a Pokemon? Are you gonna become like a different cat? Like are you just gonna be like from a kid cat to like an old cat? Like you know, are you gonna go from like a teenage looking girl to like a woman? Like what's involved in that? I guess I don't know. So I think that whole narrative is a little bit silly. Overall, I think Fran is an okay character, but she is definitely growing on me. I love her slightness of like very intelligent but dumb in a way too, like ditzy. I love that. So here's what I really loved about this. So that's all I really didn't like about this episode. Outside of that, like I thought this episode was fantastic. I thought it was really good. So the rest of the episode, you know, she figures out, you know, Fran finds out about adventuring, about money. I love that she is again ignorant to the way that some of the things in this world work. So her and teacher get to find Shisho. Her and teacher get to kind of find these things out together. So I really like that a lot. You know, we are able to find out again there's some prejudice there, that, you know, some dog character was very prejudiced against her, even though she saved his ass. You know, she goes to the guild. We find out the guild lady is really, really funny. She's super duper toxic. I love that quite a bit. She takes the examiner She takes the guild examiner entry test, and she aces it. She faces off against an Oni, which is like a half Oni, half human, or maybe just full Oni. I don't know. But she faces off against like an Oni, and he's really cool. And apparently he just sits on a rock all day hanging out until someone comes and does his test. So I thought that was pretty funny. Like I legitimately thought that was pretty funny. She goes toe to toe with this Oni guy, and they completely clash. I really love the animation, the style, and one of the things that I love specifically is I love that she is utilizing Teacher's moves, right? So as Teacher kind of innately discovered his abilities and basically unlocked all these abilities, she is also able to use his abilities, and they're I think they called it share statistics or something, but they're able to basically share these moves, these abilities, these things that he learned. So it goes both ways. So he's able to use them independently, but she's also able to now use them independently as well too, and kind of make it her own. She pulled off a move called Dragon Fang. I thought that was super sick. So she hit him with like, Teacher hit him with like a bunch of magic and a bunch of like fire and stuff, and she hit him with the dragon move, which is like a sword skill, a sword technique. And she was really praised for using these chantless magic and sword skills at the same time. Then we got to go meet the guild leader, I guess like the head guild master, and he is a elf guy. I love how he tried to pry, like, hey, where'd you come from? And she's like, it's a secret. And I love that. I thought that was hilarious. I absolutely, like, I was grinning. I thought that was absolutely, like, hilarious. He then took her to go get her guild card, and there was a room of faces. Very creepy. I didn't like it at all. I literally wrote down, ew, room of faces. Didn't like that at all. The one thing I didn't like is we didn't get to see her rank. I think we saw it on the actual card, but they didn't call it out at all. I think I want to say G rank, which is like bottom tier, which makes no sense if she basically like destroyed a high level examinee. I don't know what level the Oni is, but let's say even if he was level D or C, I would have expected her rank to be higher than the bottom tier, which I think G is the bottom one, then it goes up to F class and stuff like that. So I don't know specifically. I'm just going based off the kind of lettering that it looks like on the guild card that we saw, for a moment. That it looks like she's G rank, but I could be wrong, so let me know in the comments if she got higher rank, because they didn't actually tell us. Then she drops off all the monster stuff, gets a lot of money. I love how the moment where Teacher was like, yo, pretend like you're pulling it out of a pouch, but then use your dimensional pouch or dimensional pocket. I thought that whole scene was hilarious. And then she whips up some ass on some people because they talk crap about the Black Cat tribe, and she whips their ass. And then the episode ends with the dwarf, being like, oh, intelligence weapon. You can't, what did he say? You can't fool my god eye or something like that. So I was like, okay. So now I can kind of see that, okay, the dwarf he could be an enemy, but I'm thinking that he might be her first friend, and he might be someone who maybe makes her armor, something like that. It's a typical dwarf job related stuff. So overall, I think like this episode killed it. Like I think what I didn't like was like maybe 15% of the episode, 20%, and it was just kind of setting up some narrative and story beats. But overall, the actual episode, really, really enjoyed it. I think this was a really huge comeback in comparison to last week's episode, which I thought was poo-poo. So I think this episode was really good. I think Fran will grow on me. I think Teacher and the way that they do the story is really important. So if they continue to kind of focus Fran, and the sword is there, but kind of, background, helpful, there for comedic relief and stuff like that, I think there could be something here. So overall, really enjoying it so far, and I thought episode 2 way better. Really enjoyed it as opposed to last week. I even went in with negative thoughts this week, and I came out positive. So that's what my thoughts are this week. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode. Let me know what you hated, what you loved, and what you think about my thoughts in the comments. And I'll talk to you guys next week. Peace.